right, let me tell you. 2 weeks ago, someone wrote to us, and they said, "Hey, they are releasing a condensed, shorter, bite-sized version of Justice League. You guys should check it out." And boy, were we deceived. Somebody lied. Somebody lied to us. No, hello and welcome.
To the Movie
welcome. This is
Men Podcast.
Yeah, that thing. My name's Brady.
I'm Pete.
And yes, it is the end of March, but it is also somehow Christmas, it would seem. Because the Snyder Cut. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, this is a weird... We had a lot of discussion. We've been planning this episode for months. Actually, realistically, we've been planning this episode for like over a year ago when they announced that this film was coming.
Right.
But since we started up our Batman series, this is an episode that we had a lot of logistical conversations about. We debated how to do this. Because we ran into a similar situation that we did with our James Bond series, which is a total shit show at this point.
Yeah.
We hiked up our socks and marathoned through James Bond in order to make it for No Time to Die.
And
we finished our James Bond series in
Don't skip over the
December.
term marathon, because watching multiple cruddy soot on the bottom of your shoe James Bond episodes, like the ones from 30, 40 years ago, the Roger Moore days, to ramp up this timeline.
Yeah. Like if I screw up, if I'm doing something at work and I hit a nail and the nail bends and goes in sideways, I'm like, well, I really Roger Moore'd that.
80% of me thinks you're joking, but 20% of me actually thinks you might be serious.
I did think it once. I never said it out loud just because people would be like, who?
What?
Who? And I'd be like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who? But yeah. So we finished that series in December.
Yeah.
And we still have because originally No Time to Die was coming out in November, and then we're like, oh, it got bumped a little bit, so we can
originally it was supposed to come out in the spring, then November.
Well, yeah, and there was no way.
Yeah.
There was no way we were going to make it. And then it got bumped to November, and we're like, shit.
We have a chance.
This might be possible. And so we got a little crazy with it.
Yeah.
And then it got bumped to, February?
Yes.
I think it got bumped to February, so then we slowed down a little. We took off our underwear and we're like, okay.
What?
We can skip a week or two. And what? You don't know that saying?
I don't know what that has to do with slowing down.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Cool.
If it's the end of the day and you're kind of slowing down for the day, maybe take your underwear off. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're okay, we can take a breather and whatever. It's now almost April, and I don't even know what the release date is for. It's this November or something, or September.
I don't know.
Or something. Over a year from its original release date. So screw that noise. But so similar situation where in the winter, in the wee hours of this year, we started our Batman series, for which we have done 2 films now. We are fastly approaching the 3rd. And we were going, because you've never seen, literally the only going into our series, literally the only Batman movies you've ever seen are those bullshit, god-awful, atrocity Christopher Nolan films.
Oh, I would differ in opinion, but yes, that is correct.
aren't as bad as I'm, throat cancering them up to be. But, but yeah, those are the only ones this is the only Batman movies you'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And so you hadn't seen any Batfleck. You hadn't seen Batman v Superman.
Nope.
You hadn't seen... you had seen Suicide Squad, so you'd seen like...
Yep.
Go on, Deadshot, don't make me do this in front of your kid. And like, you know, and him riding on the roof of Joker's Lamborghini and stuff like that. But you hadn't really seen Ben Affleck in his glory. And so, yeah, man, we toyed with it. We're like, what do we do? You haven't seen Justice League. And there's no way to like, and we're going to do the theatrical cut of Justice League as part of our Batman series. But there was no way to fast track through it. We kind of dropped the ball a little bit on planning ahead. And there was just going to be no way to do it. So ultimately what we've landed on was just to let you watch the Snyder Cut with almost zero context. I gave you like a brief rundown. I was like, this is what you need to know going into Justice League, like into the Snyder Cut Justice League. These are the cliff notes from Batman v Superman. Right. So this movie doesn't start and you go, wait, what do you mean Superman's dead? Right. Like, I gave you just enough so you kind of had some bearings.
Yeah.
And we decided just to insert it where it is.
Yeah.
And then when we naturally reach Justice League as part of our other series, then you'll be able to have a comparison then. So, which it'll just go in the opposite direction. I'm coming
okay
into Zack Snyder's Justice League going, good Lord, I can't believe how much different this is than the theatrical cut. Whereas you're just going into this as a film. And then reversely, when we reach the theatrical cut, you'll go into it and you go, man, I can't believe how different this is from the Zack Snyder one.
Which I'm actually kind of looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have trivia? Did you?
No.
Okay. And I didn't, nor should you.
Yeah, I think this is the trivia for this would just be a little out of my league, just as far as it's Batman, which is just that's not necessarily ruling it out for me, but just this whole Zack Snyder-esque part of it, I just figured it would be a good week to skip.
Okay, so Zack Snyder's scratch that, reverse it. Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is a 4-hour film.
It is.
A 4-hour film, a chaptered film, broken up into parts and an epilogue.
Quite stylishly or quite elegantly, I might say, just divided.
Yeah, I thought it worked. Did you watch it in one sitting? Did you sit down and watch 4 hours?
Even a little bit. But what I did do is I wouldn't just stop it like halfway through an action scene. Like I would stop it at like a certain chapter and then resume and carry on at a different point. Right.
So you would wait until the screen went dark. You would wait until the film said, "Okay, Pete, this is an okay spot for you to take a break."
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's respectful. I think that's the way.
Yeah.
That's the way to do that. What'd you think? I mean, going into just like what is your initial? What were your thoughts going into it, and what were your thoughts coming out of it? Contrastly.
I think it would have been interesting if I because I'm not a Batman fan and I'm aware of this film, obviously, because we're reviewing it. It would have been really just kind of funny if I had accidentally watched the 2017 version and just not realized it, and then kind of like the nightmare of like when you do the wrong homework in a nightmare, or you haven't done your homework, just kind of that dream scenario. When we hit the record button today, like a cold sweat on my part, being like, crap, I watched the wrong film.
Right.
And this would be the only circumstance where something like that could happen.
And we would have discovered that two ways. One, because you would have ended the film and went, "Oh, that was shorter than I thought."
Yeah, right.
And two, you would have shown up, and the first comment you would have made was, "Well, that was really great widescreen." And I would have said, "Whoa."
So yeah, anyway, on a serious note, so my thoughts on this, I guess just in general, yeah, like you said, it was a really unique experience for me, not having seen the original Justice League, not having seen a lot of the DC films, and to be honest, if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for this show, I can quite confidently say I would not have seen it as soon as I did. I maybe would have seen it eventually, but I'm not even sure if I would have. And this film likely would not have been on my radar to the same degree that it was. So with that, I was playing with a lot of house money. I had nothing to lose or gain, so if it sucked, I would have been like, hey, I knew nothing about the original one, so maybe I have nothing to compare it to. And if it was great, then it's, hey, I've watched an interesting film, on to the next thing. What I will say, and this might disappoint you. No, I'm just kidding. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the film. I did. It was captivating. It was entertaining. Honestly, just we'll get into some stuff, and I just want to say my quick thoughts here. It put the other DC films to shame. So I've watched most recently the Wonder Woman 2. I just thought it was horrible.
Oh, yeah, garbage.
Total
garbage.
And I might be in the minority here, but Aquaman I've seen, I thought it was garbage too. I quite honestly did. And not the character, just the film. I
don't think it was garbage, but I also don't. I feel the same way about the Aquaman movie that I felt about Black Panther. I'm like, sure. Okay. Like, it's a solid installment, but it's not this magnificent, crazy, ridiculous, amazing thing that we're all bowing down in front of.
Right. What this film did do for me, though, is I enjoyed the snippets of Wonder Woman, and I enjoyed the snippets of Aquaman, and it made me interested in those characters again, and it made me think, okay, it's not those characters that are dead to me, it's just literally those most recent films that were awful, and it made me kind of happy, and it also made me kind of sad because of these backstories we saw, and I'm using those two examples, it made me go, wow, this is what Aquaman and Wonder Woman 2 could have been for me if they had been done better or done in a way like this film that I enjoyed more. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Loved, just in a nutshell, the backstory of a lot of these characters. I will say, I don't think I needed it to be 4 hours. I think it was a little bit longer than it needed to be. And, you know, I think there's a good chance I might never watch it again. I might, but I think there's a good chance that I won't. But yeah, it was just it was what I want to be watching in just a fun, fantastical film. It was just fun. I forgot about whatever that issue was going on with my day for that period when I watched that film. I was interested in something that was just, you know, silly in the context of the world. Like, it doesn't matter, and I can just enjoy watching these characters do something. Like, it did what it was supposed to do for me. And my hot take, and I don't know, maybe this is not a hot take, maybe you're the same, maybe a lot of the DC fans are saying the same thing, I don't know, but this is, if it's not the best DCEU film I've ever seen, it's at least the most captivating. And that's what I'll end on with my initial thought.
Sure. And I mean, okay, so to be fair, you also haven't seen all of them. All of the DCEU films. No. I've seen maybe like, so you're not
4 to 6. So I've seen not nearly all of them, but I've not seen like 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so listen, as far as the length goes, whereas the theatrical cut suffers from being too tight and not giving any of the characters enough time to breathe, and have the necessary time to grow into a character that you're going to, you know, ultimately care about or be invested in, specifically Barry Allen and Victor Stone. Flash and Cyborg, this being the first film that they're introduced to us in, the theatrical cut just does not have enough time. Like, yeah, we just don't get to know them. It just, there's no backstory for them. And so, but having said that, I would say that the Snyder cut has probably approximately 30 minutes or so, 20 to 30 minutes of unnecessary fluff.
I'd
Stuff in
agree.
there that
Yeah.
stuff in there that as I was watching it, I'm like, this is a cool scene and all, but this scene is completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. And the one that comes to mind instantly for me is the one where Barry Allen is applying for a job to be a dog walker or groomer or whatever it is. It's a really cool scene.
Sure.
And it showcases his powers and it showcases all this stuff. But it if you take that scene out, it changes nothing about the film. Changes nothing about the film. So that scene was like a good 10 minutes of unnecessary fluff. And there's a couple other moments throughout the film where I'm just like, I just don't need this. Like, I just don't know why.
Right.
I just don't know why you're showing us this. Why does this matter? This doesn't mean anything. But that's, it is what it is. Talk to me about the, so let's do a little bit of word association here.
Ooh, okay, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. And actually, before you do that, I will say I think I would agree with you. And obviously, as two human beings, we're going to disagree on what was puff and what was not. I think we could probably align on some things that I thought was poof and could be removed. For one, I liked that Flash scene. But there were some moments where I just thought where Superman comes back and he's fighting with everyone. There was just some components to that, like scenes like that, where I'm like, okay, let's trim the fat on this a little bit and let's move on with the story versus having this long action sequence where we're fighting against ourselves. Let's just have Superman be depressed and he just walks away and say, guys, I need some time by myself. Bye. And
you know what? I wonder if your perspective of that will change when you see the predecessor to this film.
Well, and that's true.
Like when you see Batman v Superman.
That's true. Oh, okay. Sorry. If I see B versus S and having seen the original Justice League, it would be interesting to know if my opinions change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But word association.
Okay, so we'll just do a couple of warm-ups here before we get into the real one, right? So if I say banana, you say
apples.
Okay, yeah. If I say bunny rabbit, you say
hat.
Okay, and if that's enough warm up. If I say aspect ratio, you say
what?
So what'd you think? What'd you think of the aspect ratio?
I have to be so honest. I didn't think of it. And I feel a little ignorant. So is it that it was fine and I didn't need to notice it? Was it, I guess, I think you alluded to this, I guess it was different than the original?
Well, yeah, so I assume you watched it on a widescreen TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you should have noticed that there were massive black bars on the left and right hand side of the screen.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you not notice that?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
It just didn't, yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't faze you. And so it's so interesting. Everyone's saying, why did they crop it?
Oh.
Do they just crop it so that it's like artistic? Why did they crop it? And let me explain this real quick.
Yeah.
So an aspect ratio, for those who don't know, is like the dimensions of the image on your screen, right? So whether it's 4:3 or 16:9 or whatever, there's a number of different. There's like a dozen different aspect ratios that are used depending on the era that the film is made in, depending on the region of the world. Like there's all kinds of different aspect ratios. And if you're shooting digital, then like if you're shooting and the images that you're shooting are going straight onto flash memory or a hard drive or whatever, then nowadays, pretty much for the most part, everything is shot widescreen, right? So it comes out of the camera so that it fits your TV. However, Justice League, when Zack Snyder shot it, was not shot using digital. It was shot on film. He used film to shoot it. Now, film, when you shoot it, the frame of a film is this sort of squared 4:3 image that you got in Zack Snyder's Justice League. And what they do is, so back in the day when we had TVs that were like 4:3 or even square TVs, this was a non-issue. Because the TV was pretty much the same aspect ratio as the film we were shooting on. And so you saw a pretty much unhindered film. Whereas now you'll see a lot of films, like, do you remember when the shape of TVs first started changing? And when you bought a DVD, you had to watch to see if you were buying the widescreen or the full screen version.
Do I ever?
Right? And so, and the difference was that, because at the time, like when it first happened, we hated the black bars.
Oh yeah.
We would if you had a non-widescreen TV, which I did for a long time after widescreen TVs had come out. We still had like an old rear projection box TV. If you watched a widescreen movie, like you would always want to get full screen. Because if you had a widescreen movie, you'd have these big black bars on the top and the bottom, which we had never had with any of our VHSs. And we were like, what the hell is like this? What is this crap? And so you would use, like foolishly back in the day to get rid of those, we would use the zoom function on our DVD player to get rid of it. And what didn't occur to us at the time is that we were losing so much of the image in order to do that.
Yep. You
were losing so much from side to side. So aspect ratio. So when something is shot on film, it's shot in that square. That is the shape of a frame. And so if you're shooting something on film and then you go to release it in widescreen for Blu-rays, or anything that was shot on film back in the day and has been remastered into 4K Blu-ray quality or whatever.
Yeah.
In order to get that widescreen image, they are cropping image from the top and the bottom of the frame.
Oh.
You're not seeing everything that was shot. And so the theatrical cut of Justice League is in widescreen because they cropped image off the top and bottom. And so if you take, and Zack Snyder's Justice League just simply is showing you the full frame that they shot. And so if you take and you compare side-by-side shots, like the same shot from both films, you'll notice, there's a lot more room above Superman's head in this shot. And there's more ground in front of him because they haven't cropped it in order to give me widescreen. Right. I went into this thinking, when I first officially found out the announcement that this was going to be the aspect ratio, I hated it. I was like, that's going to be so annoying to watch. And for 4 hours, I don't want to watch this crap. 2 minutes in, I stopped noticing it.
Wow.
2 minutes in, I was like, this is fine. And I never thought about it again, except for when we paused it about halfway through and I got up to go to the washroom and I was like, holy shit, I haven't noticed. Like it's not bothering me. So ultimately, because it was like an enhanced experience because you're getting the full frame, ultimately I was glad for the aspect ratio And I was pleasantly surprised that it didn't bother me at all. Because I was certain it was going to. I was bent out of shape. I was like, I don't want this shit. But it was good.
I just assumed. I think I just had the assumption that everything about this film you were going to eat up no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's the deal. Like, it's interesting that you don't have, like, you haven't seen the theatrical cut. So I can make a lot of comparisons between them, and they're going to fall on uneducated ears.
Right.
So what I'll say is, what happened was there were some creative differences between Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder.
Sure.
But then ultimately, too, tragically, after they had finished shooting Justice League, and before post-production, or in the very early stages of post-production, Zack Snyder's daughter took her own life. And then, so for obvious reasons, Zack stepped away. I think there was already some tension regarding like studio notes that he wasn't listening to, he wasn't following, he was ignoring their stuff for his vision.
Sure.
And then I think this was just the nail in the coffin. So I think things were already tense, and then this happened, and so stepping away was obvious. And so then they brought in Joss Whedon, who had directed both of the first two Avengers films. So it was a little bit, I think it was a little bit like Warner Brothers and the DCEU being like, oh, well, Marvel's having all this success. Why don't we bring in the Marvel guy? And,
right.
He'll turn this into an Avengers for us. And then Joss Whedon reshot like a lot of shit. Like a lot of stuff.
Like reshot, like
a
completely.
Lot of stuff.
Oh wow!
I mean, there's a lot of scenes where you're like, okay, this is clearly the exact same shots as the Snyder cut, but then there's a lot of stuff in it where it's like, this is the same scene, but everyone's dialogue is different. They like reshot this scene, and Joss Whedon like added some jokes and like tried to lighten the tone and make it a little goofy and a little silly and a little, so that happened a lot. And then infamously, 90% of the shots in Joss Whedon in the theatrical cut of Justice League, which Zack Snyder has not watched. To this day, Zack Snyder has not seen the theatrical cut. Which I think is both really cool, and I also think it's like a little crybaby petty.
Oh, for sure.
But notoriously, like 90% of the shots in the theatrical cut that involve Superman are terrible. Terrible. And the reason being is because Joss Whedon reshot most of the Superman scenes. But by this point, filming for Justice League was done. And Henry Cavill was overworking on the latest Mission Impossible film. And for his character in Mission Impossible, he'd grown a pretty sick mustache. A mustache that he was contractually not allowed to shave off.
Right.
And so they brought him back in, and they stuck him in the Superman suit, and they're like, well, CGI will replace his upper lip.
Wow.
And they did, and it's bad. It is bad. Some scenes you don't notice it much, but most scenes is terrible because his top lip kind of just doesn't move very much.
This is
Like,
comical.
what is wrong with this guy's face?
Wow.
But none of that is in this because Zack Snyder did not use anything that Joss Whedon shot. He didn't use any of that footage. He just used his stuff. This was not a director's cut. It was not a re-release. This was a restoration process. This was restoring the original vision, the original footage, the original story and idea, including that scene at the end, the nightmare scene, which was intended to be in the original. The only exception to that and the only difference being that Joker was never a part of the original plan. That was added in. That was Zack Snyder having 4 years to think about the project and dwell on what he would have changed and done differently and whatever. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of changes. You know, it's overall it's the same story. Both films are the same story.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot more character development, a lot more story beats in the Zack Snyder one because it's a lot longer.
Of course, yeah.
It's a lot longer. You know, simple changes like, so in Zack Snyder's Justice League, Darkseid, who is kind of like the Thanos of this film.
Big time.
He's not in the theatrical version.
Oh, really?
Not at all. Steppenwolf is the big bad guy, and that's it.
Which, okay, I'm going to admit I'm okay with that. Conceptually, I'm not sure how it plays out in the theatrical cut.
It's pretty, yeah.
When we're talking about like
I don't know.
needing to trim some fat, I would have been okay if just like, hey, it's this guy. He alludes to some daddy issues of wanting to win some approval, and then that was.
Oh no! But it's not even that. In the theatrical cut, we don't mention like Darkseid is not a consideration.
Oh, like he's just not even mentioned at all.
In this, in the theatrical cut, it's literally just Steppenwolf on his own friggin' crusade.
Oh wow. Okay, that's quite.
Oh yeah,
then.
so there's some significant differences. Some heavily significant differences. Overall, I think anyone who thinks that Zack Snyder's Justice League is not as good as the theatrical cut, I would argue with them. I think it's undeniably better. Undeniably better. Not only is it a better film, but it's a really good film. I really enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
You know, I think the biggest crime of this movie, the thing that makes me the saddest about this movie, is that it's, you know, in the spirit of restoring the original vision, the film ends on a cliffhanger because Zack Snyder had plans. He had plans for what they were going to do next. And so this film ends on some really great cliffhangers. I'm like, oh shit, like where is this going? What are we going to do next? And ultimately none of those matter or mean anything. Right? So we had this hashtag for the longest time.
Because I want to ask you, is this it? Like, is it a one and done?
That's it. Yeah.
But he's back. Okay, but he's back. So like he's literally not going to continue any of these storylines?
He's back, but he's not back. Like, okay, so Walter Hamada, who is the CEO of Warner Brothers, and Zack Snyder have both said, no, that's it. We're not going to continue. We're not going to do any more. We're not going to, you know. Yeah. However, they also spent a number of years saying that we weren't going to get the Snyder cut. So, is that a nail in the coffin? No. Does it make it seem unlikely that we're going to get more? Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Sure.
You know, but the movement's already started, right? So for years and years and years and years, we had hashtag release the Snyder cut, release the Snyder cut, release the Snyder cut, which subsequently led to, you know, so Suicide Squad, which was another DCEU film that I, for the most part, enjoy. For a lot of people, it fell flat, and I'm not saying that it's without its issues because it's not.
Sure.
But it was another film that famously, like, they shot a lot. Like most of the shit that they shot with Jared Leto as Joker ended up on the cutting room floor.
Oh wow!
There's a lot of stuff in that film that wasn't in that film that should be in that film. So David Ayer, who is the director of that film, you know, so there was like the hashtag started, release the air cut. Right. Everyone wants the original vision of Suicide Squad, which 2 days ago, Warner Brothers announced, no, we're not doing that. That's not going to happen. To which David Ayer publicly on Twitter replied, why? Like, why? Why not? Come on. So anyways, obviously the hashtag release the Snyder Cut is dead now because we've released the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
But it's given birth to the new hashtag, which I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
Restore the Snyderverse.
Oh, cool.
Go to this timeline. Give us this.
Mm-hmm.
Give us what comes next from this. Show us Justice League 2. Give us more. Which, and they're saying like, wow, but you could do it, and you could do it separate from the DCEU proper, because the Snyder Cut is not canon.
Sure.
In the DCEU, it's not canon. It's not. It's a one-off. It's an alternate, standalone cinematic experience. And there's a lot of people who are saying, well, you could let You could let Zack Snyder continue to chip away at his own little Snyderverse and just release them on HBO Max the way that you did this one. But the problem with that, sorry, I took a drink of water. The problem with that is that it's just not viable. What you're proposing is that we start making $200 million movies.
Right. Yeah.
$250 million movies.
Right.
With the intent of releasing them solely on a streaming service?
Yeah.
There's no return.
Right.
You're not going to get money from that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
not gonna happen. Yeah.
Right. And so it's just not going to happen. Unless there's some, and I'm all for, I don't think it's going to happen, but I am all for hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Man, absolutely. Let's get her done. Do it up.
Because I don't have as much of a horse in this race as you do, as far as being, you're more well-versed obviously in Batman, but also just in this universe in general. And I have to admit, when I watched Suicide Squad, just in comparison, when we talked about it, there were some things where, you walked me off the ledge a little bit and you said, yeah, but you have to consider this and this and this. And I was like, I guess. I still don't think it was a good film, and I kind of had to kind of cringe and kind of squint to get through parts of it.
Right.
But with this film, like, again, I'm not interested. If it had been just not good, I would have said, who cares, let's move on. But just as a film that was entertaining and that I was interested in, and that I would be interested in watching a sequel to or a continuation of some things, I too, to a lesser degree than you, but I too am sad that this might be a one and done, because just as a film, aside from being part of the DCEU, just as a film, I was interested. Maybe it was a bit long, but I was interested. Yeah.
Well, and so there's a bunch of people who don't like the Snyder Cut. Online, there's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
People I know, like people on my own Facebook, who are like, oh, it's stupid, and it's the same terrible film, but 2 hours longer. And I mean, all film is subjective, but in almost every, like one example that I'm thinking of specifically, the person then in a further comment goes on to reveal that they are a hardcore MCU fanboy, which I am too.
Sure.
But that the only DC character that they like is Batman. And that they don't really... And I'm like, well, then, I mean, this film didn't stand a chance. You went into this film not liking it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, So, yeah, I mean, there's people who don't like this film for sure. But I would say anyone who's going into this, specifically comparing it to the theatrical cut, or just someone like yourself, I would say that the majority of people who watched it, watched this movie, and then are probably of the mindset of somebody give Zack Snyder a microphone.
Yeah.
Hand him the mic.
Yeah.
Let this guy do his thing, because holy
Sure.
shit. Right? Because what's come out since this? You've had, like, what direction has DC, Warner Brothers tried to take DC? Shazam came out. Shazam's a pretty damn good movie. Have you seen Shazam?
I haven't. I have to admit, it doesn't look like my cup of tea. I could be proven wrong if I watched it, but it hasn't been on my short list.
It's a pretty damn good movie.
Okay.
Birds of Prey came out. Dumpster fire.
Emphasis on dumpster and emphasis on fire.
Like, there aren't many Ewan McGregor films that I think
Right.
deserve to burn in hell, but this film's
Right. That's the one.
it's up there.
Yep.
Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, man.
Move over on the grill there, Birds of Prey.
Which I
'Cause
take
we're-
that one personally because I love 80s retro
so
films, like set in the 80s but made in modern day. And I've appreciated Wonder Woman. And, like, man, that movie had potential. And, man, did they just not do anything with it.
Yeah. Aquaman, which, you've said you don't really like. I've said, you know what, I didn't dislike it, but neither of us are like, yeah, man,
Oh, yeah. No.
do it up. And then this Flash film, which has taken years and has been delayed by years and years and years and years and years, and we haven't gotten it yet. So, I mean, they haven't had the best success.
No?
So maybe just let Zack do it. Like,
Yeah.
I understand that all three films that Zack has had any touch to.
Yep.
Man of Steel. Man of Steel should have been, considering when it came out and considering it's a Superman movie, should have been $1 billion film.
Sure.
And it wasn't. It didn't come close.
Yep.
Batman v Superman. Batman fighting Superman. Should have been $1 billion film. And it
Right.
wasn't. So, I mean, I understand from Warner Brothers' perspective that you have this director who has done the first two films in your franchise, and both have, based on your projections, whatever, both have underperformed. And so I get their desire or their inclination to move away from him. But there's been some overwhelming support for Zack in the last little while. And I don't know. I think that support is going to fall on deaf ears over at Warner Brothers, but I really hope it doesn't.
I mean, I think you've highlighted the point that DCEU is in some ways the little brother to MCU, and it's not like DCEU has a lot of options where it says, hey, we've had insert blank, that's a great template, let's repeat it, let's do it over again, let's do that. I mean, when you're looking at Zack Snyder, I feel like and I mean, I'm not pretending to know the business of this film specific industry in this corner here, but I mean, this is like the closest thing you've come to a home run. You got to put this player in the game. Like you have like, what other choices do you have that have given you success in the past? Like, what other options are you going to go with? Right?
Right.
Like
Patty Jenkins, who did the first Wonder Woman, and we adored it.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Was the first major successful DCEU film. Was the first Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And then she gave you Wonder Woman 84. And that sucked. That was not good.
No.
So, I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I don't see it happening, but God, do I wish it would.
Yeah.
Because I want
I'm
to
with
see
you.
this. I want to see this. To hell with the rest of whatever they've got planned.
Oh.
With the exception of the Flashpoint movie. That I want to see so bad.
Yeah.
Barring in mind that there's the headlines right now, there's in the last 2 days that Michael Keaton might pull out and not return as Batman in it. Which,
wow.
God, please don't ruin this for me. Please. Please. Like, oh man, I'm so excited anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your favorite moment in this movie? What's one moment where you're like, or give me 2 or 3, because I've got 2 or 3. I've got 2 or 3 moments where I'm like, good God.
Yeah.
And they're all for different characters.
Sure.
Where I'm like, this is your moment to shine. So maybe do that. Maybe we've got 6 members of the Justice League.
Sure.
We have Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Flash.
Sure.
What was each was each character's best moment for you?
Oh, I love this. Thank you. Yeah, I think Aquaman, I just loved everything that we saw from him. The CGI wasn't overtly bad, so I just wasn't distracted by any backstory we got of him, so I enjoyed him. And that there's nothing specific for him, just I enjoyed that. Similar with Wonder Woman, nothing specific. I just loved every aspect of her in this film. It was not delving into the same problems of Wonder Woman 2. I specifically it's corny, but I liked the scene where the little girl asks, like, can I be like you? And Wonder Woman says, you can be anything you want to be. And, I think it's fun. I think, contrary to what you thought, I think my Barry Allen moment would be that dog resume scene where he just makes eye contact with this woman in the street, saves her life, has this intimate moment where he's like moving her body to save her and lead her to safety. I thought that was just very cool. There was a very kind of way to get our feet wet with those who aren't experienced with this rendition of the Flash, to kind of see how exactly his kind of how he does his jive kind of thing.
Sure.
Batman, I wrote this down. Even before I knew you were going to ask me this question, I wrote this down. I think my favorite part of Batman was when he brings the Flash into his decked out bougie dope Mercedes Benz, and the Flash says something along the lines of,
"What is your superpower again?"
Yeah, what's your superpower again? And Batman, in typical fashion, says, "I'm rich.
I'm rich.
I'm rich, boy," which was awesome. Victor was interesting. Victor, I think we got some interesting backstory of this human being who's definitely not. He's kind of like the Darth Vader human being now. He's more machine than man, but very interesting backstory. Poor soul. I don't know if his dad really had to die to do what he did, but that's another story. I think my favorite moment was a human moment with Superman, where he was reintroduced to his mother again after he had came back. Yeah. There was something about that I was like, here we go.
Both versions. In both versions of this film.
Yeah.
That scene makes me cry.
Doesn't it? Right?
Martha's reaction to seeing Clark.
Right?
And she says, "Is it really you?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's me, Mom." And they hug, and she cries. And I just I just...
Now...
My response is a really empathetic response.
Now,
it's just going like, I can imagine what the moment would be to be reunited with your dead son.
Right. And I think part of it comes down to too, like we have experience as parents. So is it the film's success in portraying this scene, or is it as human beings, you and I can kind of empathize with that more? But whatever it is, I think
it's just good writing. I think it's just brilliant writing.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, that's the scene for Superman that stuck out with me. So I got Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Batman, Victor, and Superman. So yeah, I think that's all of them.
Nice.
What about you?
Nice.
Maybe your Superman was the same for me. I don't know.
Mine's a toss-up.
Sure.
Mine's a toss-up. I'll start with Flash. For me, the best moment for Flash is when he realizes that what he's got to do, because they've lost.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost. It was too late. He got stabbed or shot. He got shot. And he's wounded. He was doing that running around the outside thing and waiting, and he couldn't hold it. And then he realizes that what he has to do is run faster than the speed of light, or close to the speed of light,
right?
So that he can turn back time. Which which historically is always a horrible idea for Barry Allen to mess with time.
Sure.
But he does it, and just that like pep talk to me, just that talk that he was giving himself, where he was like, okay, Barry, got to do it. Got to go fast. Got to go fast with the speed of light. Got to break the rule. Got to break it's one rule. And just like, and to me, that was just so exciting because I was like, ooh, what adventures have you had where you've had to form this rule?
Interesting.
What trouble have you caused in the past that
right.
you know you can do this, that you know you can manipulate time, and you've had to set this rule for yourself. So that was a fun moment for me. Aquaman's not that different of a character in this one than he is in the theatrical cut. I mean, there are some differences, but it's not that different. And so I don't know that I really have an Aquaman moment.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Wonder Woman was
Actually,
the same moment.
Can I?
Yep.
Because one specifically came up to mind, and it's not a character-rich moment, but it's just kind of a ambiance, like it's a fun scene, was when he was going out on that stormy pier, like with a bottle of whiskey in hand, and I just thought that was
cool.
Cool scene.
Although then I was like, dude, there's in both editions of this film, I'm like, and now there's glass in the ocean.
Right? Yeah, like, come on, man. You
like, if anyone should be bent out of shape about broken glass in the ocean, it's the king of the fish. So
honestly, yeah.
Get your shit together.
You.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Wonder Woman, I was going to say it was the same as yours with that little pep talk to the little girl, but I actually want to change mine. It's in the bank when she's like moving along, deflecting bullets away from... And she's just like, the way that she's moving is almost inhuman. But it's cool. It's so cool. She's so badass. And I love her music. And they play a different song. They do a lot of like, this tribal kind of music for her, which I border on thinking is almost slightly overused because it seems to play a lot.
Yeah.
But then it leads into the classic Wonder Woman guitar riff that we've all come to know and love, and is one of the greatest superhero, music pieces that's ever been written because it's so good. For Cyborg, it is when he's in that kind of like weird digital world thing, and he's watching the life of he's going through all the data on this waitress that is like overworked and underpaid and is being taken advantage of and all of this stuff. And he like steals from the bank. He steals $100,000 and puts it in her account. And it was just such a great moment because because he doesn't benefit from that. It just showed that this is who Victor is.
Yeah.
It just does so much for Victor's character, who he is.
Yeah. That was great.
Superman, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between that scene. Superman's got some really great moments in the theatrical cut that aren't in this one. And there's one line in particular that isn't in this one that I miss. And I'm not going to talk. I can't talk about it until we do the theatrical cut because I don't want to ruin the whole thing for you.
No.
But it's his interaction with his mom, which is a really good one. And then the other one is where he first shows up at the final fight. And Steppenwolf is about to slash through Cyborg with his big battle axe thing. And Superman intervenes. He gets between the axe and Cyborg. But he doesn't catch the axe. He doesn't push the axe out of the way. He doesn't grab it. He doesn't, he just moves into position and takes the hit.
Right.
Lets the axe bounce off his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at Steppenwolf and all he says is, "I'm not impressed."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, I got such chills. I was like, that is amazing.
That was
that
pretty
is
cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
And then Batman is there's a scene in this that I absolutely love. And a line that is not my favorite Batman line ever, I don't think, but God, it makes top 5.
Sure.
God, it makes top 5. And you'd be surprised that in that top 5 is a line from Batman Begins.
Oh, cannot wait till we get to that episode. Cannot.
Which I can do. Do you want to know what it is right now?
Nope.
One of my favorite Batman lines of all time.
I want it to be a surprise.
Okay, I'll leave it.
Yeah.
But in this movie, there is at the end, during the nightmare scene, when he's had to team up with Joker, because they're in this post-apocalyptic world, Lois Lane has died, and Superman is now cranky. And Joker, who you'll pick up on this. He kind of goes into enough detail here, but it's really he's harking back to something that is kind of referenced to or kind of hinted at more in Batman v Superman, which is the fact that Joker has killed Robin at some point in the past. By the time we even get to Batman v Superman, Robin's dead. Robin is dead, and at the Joker's hand. And he's talking about it, and he monologues a little bit, but he says, how do you justify the fact that you sent a boy to do a man's job? Which, ultimately alludes to Robin. Robin obviously went in to do something to attack Joker or to rescue someone, and Joker got a hold of Robin and killed him.
Right.
And Batman says, and I'm paraphrasing most of this, but he says, it's funny how you talk about loved ones dying in my arms. When Harley Quinn was dying, and I was holding her, which we know that they end up not getting along, because in Birds of Prey, she's like, her and Joker have broken up. She's off on her own now. She's done with Joker.
Yeah.
But he's like, when Harley Quinn was dying, bleeding in my arms, she made me promise that when I kill you, and make no mistake, I will effing kill you.
Right.
That I make you suffer. And just that, just that, the make no mistake, I will effing kill you. I was like, this is a Batman who has been, not only is he at his wit's end because of the state of the world, but he's had to team up with what psychological turmoil from having to team up with your arch nemesis, the guy that killed your protege.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that was just so good. A close runner-up. A close runner-up is for Batman is at the end of the movie where, and this is in the theatrical cut as well. The scene's a little bit different. They change his line a tiny bit. But in the theatrical cut where Martha's got the Kent house in Smallville back, and they're moving all of the stuff back in, right? And it's clear that Bruce has done something to help them keep the house.
Sure.
And Clark says, thanks for everything, Bruce. How'd you get the house back from the bank? And Bruce goes, I bought the bank. I'm just like, Yes. That tops the line, and this is not my favorite line, but that tops the line from is it Dark Knight? I think it's Dark Knight. That tops the line where he's got the Russian ballerinas.
Oh yeah.
And they're like skinny dipping in and they're like, and he's like or no, he wants to like pull a couple tables together to sit down with Harvey and
Right.
Rachel.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Harvey's like, I'm not sure they'll allow us to do that. And Bruce is like, I think they will. I own the place.
Yeah.
Right. That's a cool line, but the whole, I bought the bank.
Yeah.
Like, he says it in such a, what a ridiculous question. I just bought the bank. What do you mean? It seems easiest to buy the bank.
Yeah.
So those are my favorite Batman moments. And then can I give a quick Alfred moment?
Do it.
I really like, there's two great lines. The first is when Cyborg is like, don't worry, Alfred, I'll take it from here. And Alfred's like, do I know you? Just like this voice of like, Alfred's all of a sudden like, whoa, hang on a second. Our bat tech just got hacked.
Yeah.
So that's a cool moment. But I don't know why I loved this line so much. But it's a line when Alfred's working mechanically on the troop carrier. And there's like a big spark or a fire. A little fire breaks out. And he puts it out and Bruce says, any luck? And Alfred says, if by luck you mean any chance in hell that this thing is going to fly today, then no luck. And I don't know why I thought that was such a great line, but it was just like, I do like Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
I don't think he's bad. Yeah, he's not bad.
Yeah. Is there anything you've written down that's like, I don't know if you have like questions? I mean, again, you've gone into this film pretty without context, right? So you see Lex Luthor at the end.
Yes.
You see Joe Manganiello show up as Deathstroke on the yacht very briefly, kind of setting up, like Lex Luthor is like, I'll give you something. I'll give you some information. Batman is Bruce Wayne. And so that was a cool moment. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's about it. I think there's a lot of fun stuff, and I think the end dream sequence and kind of like those end tidbit things that you just kind of referenced, it is kind of like a bittersweet because it is like, heck, I'm aboard the train. Like, I'm interested. I'd watch more of this story, but like you said, it's
unlikely.
It's unlikely. We might
not
see
impossible.
It's not impossible, but not
but very unlikely.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll see. We'll see.
It's so. I just want more, man. There's such good cliffhangers. There's such good setups for what's coming and what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. 0 to 10.
Interesting.
Zack Snyder's Justice League, 0 to 10.
Yeah. I gave this on my scale, and I made a note of this. I absolutely wish I had seen this in theaters. I feel like this is like a perfect film that you get a bag of popcorn and you watch on a summer evening. Like, this is a great summer flick. Not traditional because of its length, obviously, but I would have loved to seen it in theaters. I give it an 8 out of 10. I would get a babysitter to see this in theaters. I said I might not see it again, so it's kind of I don't know if I would see it again in theaters, but if knowing what I know now, I would not have regretted seeing it in theaters, I guess is what I'm trying to say. On Marshall's scale, I think it got a bit lower just because of the rewatch value for me is not quite there. So it's more like a 6 or a 7. But overall, a pretty cool view. So either an 8 or a 6 or 7, depending on which scale. So I'm curious what you are going to give it out of 10.
So actually, they did do a couple of IMAX releases in parts of the world that,
can do so.
That such things like that are possible right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the IMAX release, there is a proper intermission.
Oh, sure.
Where you can like get up and stretch your legs and go to the
Empty
washroom
your bladder
and stuff,
and yeah.
Yeah. I gave this an 8.5, so just a little bit higher than you. Yeah,
I have to say I'm surprised.
It's a lot of fun. I would almost.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
I mean, there's definitely MCU movies that I would put it over. Thor: The Dark World, hands down, piece of garbage crap.
Listen, okay, Thor: The Dark World. Yeah, come on.
But I would almost even put it above like the second Avengers, like Age of Ultron.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it's an unfair. It's totally apples and oranges.
Absolutely.
Actually, it's like apples and kiwi. It's like a totally different.
Right.
You know. But yeah, 8.5. 8.5. It's a super solid movie, and I will definitely likely watch it again.
Sure.
In fact, I don't know if we have a release date for it yet. But Justice is Gray is coming, which is the Snyder cut in grayscale, in black and white.
Oh, wow.
Kind of the noir version of it.
Oh, wow. Huh.
So, which I think Zack has said, I think I saw that he said is the proper way to see it. Is the most in line with what his initial vision was.
Wow.
So, I'll likely watch it in black and white.
Neat.
Yeah. Normally, I would ask you a question here.
Sure.
And I'm going to.
Sure.
But I'm hoping not to moving forward.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Explain.
Wow. Listen, if you've reached this part of this episode, we want to hear from you. What we want you to do is using your phone, and either by emailing it to us, which the email address to reach us will be listed below, or by going to our Facebook page and messaging us using the built-in voice memo function, or like voice message function in your Facebook Messenger app. We want you to get in touch with us, and we want you to record, again, just using your phone, just record it and send it to us. We want you to record the intro to the segment of what we watched for the week. And we also want you to tell us who you are, if you're comfortable with it, where you're from, if you're comfortable with it, and one movie you watched in the last week, if you're comfortable with it. So it would be something along the lines of, "Hi, my name is Bill Robson. I'm from, Las Vegas, Nevada. This week I watched The Wizard of Oz. What did you guys watch?" Yeah, send it to us. And we will feature it in the show. So instead of me saying, "Hey, Pete, what'd you watch this week?" It'll be you. It'll be you saying, "Hey, what'd you watch this week?"
Neat.
So we look forward to it, and we hope you do it. We've already discussed that having this catalog of people who have submitted these to us may also be for future considerations for draws and prizes and giveaways and stuff like that. Maybe we'll just draw from people who have sent in audio clips to us. So do it right now. Go to our Facebook page, go to send us a message, and then literally right there's a little microphone button on your screen. You press it, you hold it, you send your message, you release the button, and then we have it, and it's done. It'll take you like 10, 15 seconds max. So do it. Do it. We look forward to it. We look forward to hearing them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but until then, until such a time where we can use a clip like that, Pete, the hell did you watch this week, boy?
I watched 4 different films this week. Oh, wait, no.
Wow.
Never mind. No, sorry. I watched one film that was 4 hours long.
That's it? You just watched?
Yeah, it was a busy week. I watched Justice League. I finished Twin Peaks finally. Finally got to the end of it. And so I finished a television show, so that was the only other thing I watched. And it's a show I've watched twice now. It's one of those shows that has a cult following. Either people love it or hate it. And there's times that I love it. There's times that I don't like it as much. But it's definitely, it grabs a hook, and it kind of gets into some tropes of like corniness and kind of mystery, and also a bit of supernatural. And it's definitely unique. But yeah, I finally finished it. So that is all I watched. That is all I watched. What did you watch this week, aside from this 4-hour film?
Aside from this 4-hour film and the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 episodes of 24. I think. I watched 3 movies.
Oh, wow.
Movie number 1 being The Bucket List with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. It's good. You know what? It's a movie I've seen. This is probably like the 3rd time I've seen it. It's a fun, like, throw it on every couple of years and, like, you know. Yeah, it's just kind of like an easy movie to just throw on. It's not like a heavy film. It's not I don't know. To me, it's just a movie I can go back and easily watch whenever. Cool. And it's fun. It's lighthearted, despite, it deals with like death and cancer and stuff like that. But it's fun. It's pretty lighthearted in its humor. And it's got a good message. Ultimately, it's got a good message. And then the other 2 films I watched were the first and second Ace Ventura films. Which, is one of those situations where the second one is totally better than the first one.
Wow.
Totally better. The second one is so good. But I did that in light of the fact that it has been announced that the filmmakers responsible for the Sonic film and the upcoming Sonic 2 film are working on an Ace Ventura 3 film.
Oh, wow.
It has not been fully disclosed yet if Jim Carrey's going to return for the title role. But I would think he would. Typically Jim Carrey has a thing against reprising roles. Typically he doesn't like to play the same character twice. He has already done it once with Ace Ventura. He's done it once with Lloyd Christmas in the Dumb and Dumber films, but that took him a couple of decades to come back and do. But he is doing it with Sonic, and you know what? Unfortunately, like it pains me to say, it breaks my heart to say, but Jim Carrey's not in a position to be super picky with his career anymore. He's kind of no longer on top. And so, you know what? I think that his performance as Dr. Robotnik in Sonic kind of being a return to that, that sense of livelihood and comedy timing that we saw in Ace Ventura, and that performance being so well received by people is maybe, he maybe sees this as an opportunity to rebottle some of that lightning. Yeah. It's also been announced, I don't know if you saw this, there is a National Treasure series coming to Disney+.
What? Wow.
So a TV series, like a series. Sort of a spin-off reboot. Featuring centering around a young girl in her 20s who's like looking for some treasure or something, whatever, but a TV series. And on top of that, there is a National Treasure 3 with Nicolas Cage and all of the appropriate other cast members in development.
So like this is before I open up my heart here. This is like legit confirmed news. Like this is not just like
yeah. So the Disney
Wow.
Plus show is for sure on the way.
Okay.
And the movie is for sure in development, which doesn't mean it's been like greenlit or anything. Like they need to finish the story and then bring it to the studio and all of that stuff. But they are actively working on it. Yes.
Let us hope.
So they kind of like gave us nothing for over 10 years,
Over 10, yeah.
like 15 years, and then now they're just going ham on National Treasure.
Yeah.
They're like, no. Oh, okay.
All of it. Yeah,
Take it all.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which, you can't complain.
No.
And this thing ended.
Okay.
Ended.
Thank you,
Ended now.
everyone.
Wrap it up.
Thank you for listening.
Wrap it up.
Check out our episode Facebook, Instagram, Twitter page below.
Yep.
The links are below. Check out our Patreon page, our merchandise page, if you're feeling so inclined to support the show. This is our monthly shout out to Daphne, to Brenna, to Marshall. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. And until next time, thank you for listening. You. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you.
And remember. Yeah, I was going to go with something really profound and, and motivational. But I got nothing.